everyone, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle report number 27. Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus the Beardless Beardling of the Dwarven Holds. I haven't played this guy in a little bit, so I'm looking forward to this one. And he's got a updated list, and so do I. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and as you can already tell, I have changed it up a little bit. That 7,000 point game kind of got my brain thinking a little bit. I now have a Great Khan, Berserk. He's got the Kingslayer, the Hardened Shield, the Talisman of Greater Shielding, Divine Icon, and the Headhunter. He is now my general. Duh. I gave him the Kingslayer because I plan on putting him in a unit of 4x2 tribesmen, and every character that's in base to base with him or his unit, enemy character in base to base with him or his unit is +1 attack, +1 strength. So I think he has the real potential of being devastating. The Hardened Shield gives him up to a 3-up armor. The 5-up board save is duh. And the Divine Icon means when he wounds you, it's probably going to wound you. I mean, he's not much of an armor cracker. I know Kagdai's Maul might be a better choice, but I found a model that's really, really cool, and I want to try to make it WYSIWYG, and I want to try to use this. So I'm going to give it a shot here and see how it goes. For my hero choices, I still have them. Everyone calm down. I have my Khan. He's still my BSB. He still has the Flesh Render, Mithril Mail, Talisman of Lesser Shielding. I got rid of Rotten Jaw again because I needed the points. But this guy is a staple in the list, obviously. He's a BSB, and I like him. Kaka Shabadu is still part of the list as a shaman now, not a great shaman. He's been a little demoted, but hey, you know what? Sometimes when you miscast on the chart, you forget some things. But yeah, he's still level 2 wizard. He's now a level 2 wizard. He's got an Iron Fist, Demon Heart, and he's still using the Path of Butchery. He's really just going to be my augment guy. Having a level 3 was cool for the +2 and everything, but really the Demon Heart stops the magic phases and stuff like that. So I want to try a little less magic, a little bit more combat, you know? I've got my other shaman, the Combuster. He's a level 2 wizard with the Skull Splitter and the Path of Fire. This guy is a great flanker and chaff dealer with her. I love him. And I still have my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He still has his Ogre Crossbow, the Heart Ripper, Yeti Furs, Gem of Dragonfire, Troll Eater, and he's on his Tusker the War Teddy. I just really like this guy. Go figure. As you can see, the wife has finished painting him, and he's all epic pose right there. And yeah, I like the kit. It works great. It does everything I need it to do, and then some. It's iconic of the ogres. Yeah. Don't expect this guy to go anywhere. For my core choices, I have a unit of 7x tribesmen with Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, Heavy Armor, and the War Standard. And this is the unit that my general is going to go into, the Great Khan. Gave him the War Standard just because it's an extra +1 to combat res, and I wants to break things. Here's my second unit of core, 7x tribesmen, the good old boys. They have a Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, and Heavy Armor. This is where my BSB will continue to go, and their job is to get in there and bust face as well. The BSB, really. And a unit of 5 tribesmen make up the rest of my core, the Inner Council. They got a Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, and Heavy Armor. I took away the Standard of Discipline so I could use the War Standard because since my General's Leadership 9, it's really all I need. The War Standard is, I think, cheaper and better, or maybe it's more expensive. I can't remember. But bottom line is I don't need it in this unit anymore because my General's Leadership 9, and that's plenty. War Standard would be more useful for a Great Khan than Standard of Discipline. For my special choices, I still have my unit of 5 Scrappling Trappers, the Favored Pets, because I love these little bastards. And I have a unit of 6 Mercenary Veterans, the Storm of Retribution. They got a Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, Lethal Strike, Thunderous Charge, and I gave them the Dragon Skin Banner because I wanted to try it out. Rerolling 1s for pretty much everything in the first round of combat sounds good. 40 points doesn't. I prefer the Stalker Standard, I think, but I don't know for sure, so I want to try the Dragon Skin Banner. I've also been toying with the idea of giving them Halberds, but I'm not sure if I want to give up the parry, the +1 attack and +1 initiative, and +1 armor. So I'm going back and forth about it currently. I have not decided, so little steps. And of course, I still have my kin eater, Lady Elizabeth. Although I've been toying with trying the game without her, with the combustor and with tremendous. I don't really need a third chaff type of unit or even an ambusher, but I just like her. I like the model, so we'll see what happens. And for my rare choice, my frost mammoth, Rufus. He's got a couple of ogre crossbows on him, but other than that, he's just there to wreck face. That's pretty much it for my list. This probably isn't the last iteration. I'll tell you right now, I do not like how few units I have on the table. Just makes it feel tiny, too compact, too easy to scoop up points. So I'm probably going to change some things up later. In fact, I know I am because I've already played 3 games with these lists, and I change them up pretty frequently just in between the next 3 games. So don't expect this list to stick around in its current iteration because I'm currently in flux, because I'm a fickle bastard like that. But anyway, that's going to do it for my list. Here comes my opponent's list. I'll play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you want to see what he took. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. One less than I'm used to, so it shouldn't be a big deal at all. And here's deployment. And as you can see, my army just looks like it's missing something. It's driving me nuts. On my side, I got Lord Tremendous on the left side there. I've got my inner council tribesman with Kaka Shabadu in the middle, or on the left there. In the middle, I've got the good old boys with my Khan. I'm sorry, not with my Khan, with my general in there. Still getting used to that. Dead middle, I've got my mercenary vets, and they're just going to shoot at the middle. Right next to my BSB's unit. There's Khan with the good old boys. See, I'm not crazy. I'm catching up. Got Rufus next to them so that they get to swing, everyone with the BSB anyway. I got the Combustor on the right flank. He's going to shoot over this hill and hopefully just send fire into little War Machine Hill my opponent's got over there. I got the Scraplings up on that hill because there was really nowhere better to put them. There's no terrain on this table they're going to be able to manipulate, so screw it. All the little blue things that you see that look like crystals are impassable terrain. All the ones that are flat are hills, with the exception on the top right. That's impassable as well. It's like a little cave thing. And I just thought it looked cool, so we set it up. My opponent, I don't remember where everything's at, but as you can see, it's 2 big horde bricks, Achilles stuff. He's got a little chaff. Oh god, I don't remember. Slayers on the right there, the little orange guy, and on the left, right next to the blue crystals thing in his deployment zone, is another one. He's just kind of hanging out. And then on the hill, he's got his master engineer. He's got his organ gun, and right in front of him, off the hill, is his catapult. So honestly, my plan is to fire forward and get into them. I mean, we're ogres. We're combat oriented. That's the way I'm trying to design my list now. The only problem with this list I'm seeing is I have woefully little support. I have Rufus doing some support work. I've got the Combustor. and that's really it. I don't have any redirects. I don't have anything that's really going to help me out a ton with stuff like this, and so the list is bothering me. I'm not gonna lie. As I set up and everything, I'm looking at the list and I'm like, this isn't how I want to run this list. So that's pretty much it for deployment. Here's top of one after movement, and I got to go first, so I fired forward. Everyone moved 6 inches with the exception of Tremendous. So most of the guys moved up about 11 inches. I know the little dwarves, they only go 3 inches on their charge, but see, I'm not sure if he's running downhill or not. So I didn't want to take the chance, so everyone shoots forward, including Tremendous. I decided to bypass his crossbow shot just to get him into combat as quick as he could. I wanted him to kill that little, I don't know what they're called, Slayer or whatever, and then get into that back area there, take his anvil out, take his war machines out, and just, catch up with wherever the combat might be needing him, and that was about it. The trappers move up just a little bit because I didn't want to give anything an easy charge and then overrun into the combustor. The combustor runs up on the hill and has got range to a bunch of stuff I want him to shoot at, so we're good there. And then Rufus moves up onto the hill just so he can shoot at some stuff. He's got 2 ogre crossbows and his job is support at first. That's really it for movement. During the magic phase, I get a couple of augments off, toughness on the mercs and strength on the tribesmen with my general in there. Just in case he gets a lucky charge off, I wanted those units to be ready. During the shooting phase, I was able to plug his little, that's a bomber right there, and yeah, I was actually able to slip a single wound through on the bomber, so things are going well. Things are going very well. So with all that fun said and done, we go over here to bottom of one after movement, and in true stunty fashion, they stay still. They didn't move at all, the bastards. In fact, they may have even backed up. I don't think so, but they could have. The only exception to this is his Slayer and his Gyro Bomber, whatever they're called now. They went over to mess with my right flank, the Scraplings, and my Combustor. So not thrilled, or I'm sorry, that's not true. The Scrapling guy ran in front of the good old boys, so that'll be a pain in the ass, but I'll deal with him. But yeah, the Bomber really threw me off because it can bomb every turn as long as it doesn't roll a 6 for the amount of hits. And then it can shoot. It's an impressive little unit, and well, you'll see what happens. So yeah, like I said, these copters can do some damage, and this one comes flying over my damn trappers, drops a bunch of bombs, drops like 10 bombs on my guys, kills 3 of them. I was like, holy crap! I'd never seen one in the 9th Age. I didn't know what they could do, and when my opponent told them what they could do, I was like, there's no way that's accurate. No, it was accurate as far as I could tell. So yeah, this thing is terrifyingly good. Which, of course, forces the panic check, and they fail. No hatred whatsoever. Totally get it. I would be scared and flee, too, if this big flying machine just dropped a bunch of explosives on me and killed 3 of my buddies. So they flee, and they're just to the right of that little cave, the Blue Cave of Doom. Okay. Then we go into the shooting phase, because his magic phase doesn't do anything. I think he gets rerolled to hits off on that on his far right unit there, but I didn't care. I didn't really plan on charging that unit anyway, or the middle unit anyway. The one on the right was the one I planned on charging. Anyway, in the shooting phase, that unit right there, the guild handgunner unit or whatever, shoots at my general's unit and does 6 wounds. 6 wounds get through, killing 2 of my tribesmen. Holy crap. And then he goes to shoot with his organ gun into my merc vets, and thank you, dice gods, he misfires. As you can see, he rolls boxcars, and oh man, that could have been so bad. He ends up misfiring 5, which just does a wound with no saves of any kind allowed to his war machine. And you know what? That's awesome. It's 1/3 closer to death, or maybe a quarter. I'm not really sure how many crew he has. Next up is Catapult fires at my merc vets and scores a direct hit on my mercs. You know what? I really shouldn't complain. I mean, it's Dwarven artillery. It's supposed to be accurate. And he didn't even use his engineer on this. He used his engineer on his organ gun, so damn. The end result, of course, is the one that gets hit by the hole or whatever ends up getting just squished. Everyone else is fine. Strength 3 side shots don't do anything to me. And with that, we go over here to top of 2 after movement. Not a whole lot happens. Lord Tremendous is stupid. That's kind of a big deal. He was supposed to charge and get in there, but he was stupid and stumbles forward like 6 inches, which that's twice now in 2 games he's been stupid. I guess I was due. I guess the honeymoon is over, and that's the way it is. So what can you do? My general's unit, on the other hand, does kind of a longer charge into his guild gun gunners, whatever they're called, and makes it. They do stand and shoot, and they're not able to hurt me at all. My opponent rolls like raw bitter butt, and I am grateful for it. My merc vets and my other unit of tribesmen with my con, they charge that unit on the right or center or whatever, and both fail. He has that banner that makes it so that he takes D6 inches off your charge, but he didn't even need it. Neither of my units made it by either. I mean, just by dice roll and movement alone, neither of them came anywhere close. So I think the Merc Vets moved up like 2 inches, and the Tribesmen moved up one. It was stunning. The Frost Mammoth moves up for a better shot. The Trappers rally, if you can believe it or not, and the Combustor just moves over to the side of the Bomber to get better shots on it without getting charged. That's it for movement. Oh yeah, and once again, Lady Elizabeth decides not to show up. There's a better picture of Tremendous being stupid and my general's unit making it into that combat, which was good. And there's a better picture of both my units failing this charge. I figured one would make it, if not both. Unfortunately, I was incredibly wrong. And now, well, we'll see. The dwarves don't have a great charge ability, but crap. And there's a better picture of my trappers rallying. God, I love those guys. During the match phase, I'm able to get +1 toughness off on my general's unit, just in case that unit has something that I'm not expecting, or they stick and I get hit in the flank. You know, mitigate wounds. However, in order to get that spell off, I did it with overwhelming power because the best laid plans, and I end up rolling a miscast 9. Fortunately for me, nothing happens due to the miscast. Just when we roll to wound, or my opponent rolls poorly, and it works out great for me. So there is that, but it pretty much ends my magic phase. Nothing happens in shooting, so we go into combat, and I'm not going to lie, my general flubbed spectacular. There's no characters in this unit, so his Kingslayer's sword is useless, but he just flubs. I needed 3s, and I rolled 5 1s and 2s. Not his fault. You know, the dice gods giveth, and they taketh away, and they took. But my unit really kicked it into overdrive and ended up with impacts and stomps and everything like that. And yes, my general's impacts and stomps also failed to do anything. We ended up killing 9 guys. They're not steadfast. They break, we pursue, but they get away. Not a huge big deal. You know, I would prefer to catch them, but that's because I'm greedy. They didn't do any wounds to me, so this was great. They're not going to be able to shoot for at least one more turn. I am going to pursue them off the table, or pursue them into death, one of the two. But it's a start, and honestly, it's like a third of his bricks, so that's a good start. So we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and my opponent decides it looked like so much fun to fail charges, he was going to try it with me as well. That big brick in the middle there, the black one, it charged my Merc Vets and failed. No, I'm sorry, charged my BSB's unit and failed. Same thing, he just rolled really poorly to do it. So to counterbalance that, he sent his little orange guy right in the middle of the tribesmen, so they would have a difficult time charging into the big brick. My Merc Vets could, but to be honest with you, he moved up with his middle unit a little bit, so I figured my Merc Vets would just charge them and be done with it. His unit of guild gun shooter guys that my general's unit broke last turn, they rally, turn to face, they know it's coming, and his other little slayer charges Lord Tremendous, who is stupid, and just stands there and wonders why the little guy's running up to him. Other than that, his helicopter flies over the combustor to drop some bombs on him, and that's about it. There's a better picture of his units. Oh, I'm sorry, both units tried charging. A big brick on the right charged my cons unit, and the big brick in the middle there on the left tried to charge my Merc Vets, and both units failed. I'm sorry, that's what happened. Once again, nothing happens in a magic phase. We'll go over to shooting and his ogre gun or organ gun, ogre gun. You know what? In this slide, either would work, because yeah, he opens fire on my merc vets and obliterates another one and wounds a second. So, if only Elizabeth had come onto the table to put a little pressure on that. I can't lose too many merc vets. I've still got a lot of hard to kill dwarves in front of me. This is getting rougher with every shot. And then in the shooting phase, whatever little steam gun is or whatever he's got, puts a wound on the combustor. He did drop some bombs on him, but he didn't do any wounds. He dropped like 3. I'm sorry, 4. It wasn't enough. He just wasn't able to wound with him. So, hey, the combustor survived. He's a quarter dead, but he's also 3/4 alive. So, depending on your perspective, I'm either doing really well or I'm screwed. So we go over to top of 3 after movement, and I was wrong. Tremendous did not get charged by his Slayer. The Slayer moved up an inch away from him because he didn't want to take the chance of failing the charge. So he moved up 1 inch away from Tremendous. I'm sorry. A lot's happened since I played this game. I'm tired, and I'm a simple man. You know, I got a low-capacity brain. What can I tell you? But speaking of low-capacity brains, my general and his unit charge the guild gun guys again and make it, because let's face it, that was a lot of fun the first time. My merc vets charge that unit in the middle because his big brick has like rerolls to hit, 5-up ward, a bunch of crazy stuff because he got a whole bunch of bounce spells off, but I didn't care. I wasn't going to charge the unit. So my merc vets try to charge that unit in the middle and fail miserably. The dice gods are giggling at my expense. My cons unit decides not to charge the orange guy because the angle would have been bad, and if I failed to overrun properly, I'd expose my flank to this big unit of just killy dwarves, and there's just better ways to die. I'm sorry. Rufus moves up to shoot at the guys. The combustor and the tribesmen swarm around the bomber to try to take it out, and Lady Elizabeth finally shows up on the table and goes onto War Machine Hill to not only give them something else to shoot at, but hopefully take them out if she can survive it. So that's about it for movement. There's a better picture of what failure looks like, and yeah, they're going to pay for that. And there's a better picture of what success looks like. Tremendous slamming into the little dwarf bastard, and my general's unit slamming into the other shooty dwarf bastards. So that should go well on both counts. Nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go straight into combat, and I don't do well against this guy at all. I'm able to slip 1 wound through on him. Tremendous takes no wounds in return. I win this combat. Those little bastards are unbreakable. But yeah, all my attacks, everything, I just couldn't hit him. He's distracting. He's got a good arm or weapon skill. I couldn't do it. I'm gonna take another turn. Over here, though, yeah, it wasn't even like difficult. We murdered another 8 or 9 of them, and the 2 or 3 that were left didn't do anything in return. They broke, they fled. We were strained, turned to face like this, and they ran off the table. Poetry, pure poetry. And with that, we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement. And there's significant movement. As you can see, the dwarves know how to do wind sprints. They charge my mercs. I thought about fleeing. I really did. But I was like, what are the odds he's going to roll high enough to do it? Well, pretty friggin' good, apparently, because he made it. And then his little orange slayer charges Rufus, who stood, shot, and missed. And the tribesmen get charged by his big brick. I didn't think they would make it either, and he rolls a 10. He made it no problem. Other than that, his gyro bomber flies over the combustor and does another wound to him, and that's really it. Not looking good for the home team. I was really hoping he was going to make both his charges, but good on him for doing it. There's a better picture of his big unit there slamming into my mercs, his other big unit slamming into my tribesmen, and his little slayer bastard slamming into Rufus. This is bad. This is so bad. Over here, like I said, he bombed the combustor again and did another wound. Those bombers are something else. Nothing really worth mentioning happens in Magic. I think one of his guys, one of the bricks get distracting, and that's it. So we go into shooting, and the organ gun lights up and destroys another tribesman, which is just rude. And then the little copter shoots the combustor in the back and blows his brains out. It was a good shot. It was well played by my opponent. What can you do? I've almost got the little gyro bomber down. See, it's got 2 wounds on it. I might be able to kill it. We go over here into combat, and Tremendous is able to kill the little bastard finally, which is absolutely outstanding. I don't know what the hang-up was on the first round of combat, second round of combat. I was able to put all the wounds through, kill him no problem, and then turn to face, because I know he's going to have to get into this combat now. It is not going to go well for my bricks. So we go into combat over here, and my mercenaries do... I mean, this is probably the worst round of combat they've ever fought. I killed 3 dwarves. That's it. And my opponent didn't even make that many saves, and 3 dwarves die. In return, 2 merc vets eat it, and 1 is almost dead. I mean, I take, 8 wounds, charge, 2 ranks, banner, to 3 wounds and a banner. He beat my ass. And then I roll way high for both my break checks, and then I roll like a 4 to flee, and he catches me no problem. As you can see, he barely moved. It might have been like a 3 that I rolled. He barely went forward because he matched whatever I rolled, and that's it. My mercs are dead. Worst round of combat they've ever fought. I was dumbfounded. Over here, it's worse. So much worse. They kill every last one of my tribesmen. In return, we do a little bit of damage to him. I think in return I killed 8 of his guys. 6 to 8 of his little dwarves eat it and die, which isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. In return, though, they murderate every tribesman, all 7. Dead in the ground. I auto-break to combat res. My BSB gets run down. He breaks, and the unit overruns like 11 inches and catches him. My BSB is gone. Now with 2 of my units just completely beaten down, he overruns into Rufus. I mean, just nicked him too. I was like, oh my god. So yeah, he hits Rufus, and well, we all know what's going to happen here. Rufus dies. I mean, he does nothing. As you can see, my opponent's unit and his little character guy are totally fine. Flub-tastic is the only way I could think of to describe what happened. Didn't hit or wound with anything, and then they murdered Rufus. Just horrendous. And then they reform like that. Well, the little orange guy overran for whatever reason. He might be frenzied. I can't remember. But the other unit turned to face because now he's got to mop up, you know. He's going to finish his meal. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and I have... there's no quit in me. I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to surrender, so I attack. The inner council with Kakashabadu slam into the flank of whatever that unit is in the middle there. I want to say Greybeards. I'm not 100%, but his BSB is in there. One of his Rune Priest guys or Rune Smith guys are in there. So yeah, there's a lot of pain in there. But if I can get him and beat him down, maybe I can get some points. Tremendous charged as well and failed because it's just kind of my MO for this game. My general's unit, which I've realized now I way misplaced. They went charging into the Anvil of Doom. The hope there is destroy that, overrun into his organ gun before it can shoot again, and then Elizabeth charged his Master Engineer. Number 1, I don't like the bastard. He's got to die. Number 2, I need points. Number 3, that she's hungry. I mean, you know, what else am I supposed to do with her? So... at least it looks good on the top of the board. Bottom and to the left, it's looking like everything's going to die. There's a better picture of the inner council slamming into that brick of guys, and man, I hope that works out. It's also a better picture of Tremendous failing a charge, but it is what it is. And there's a better picture of my general's unit slamming into his anvil, which is also good because I want it dead. Nothing happens in magic, nothing happens in shooting, so we go into combat. My general destroys the anvil, and then we overrun, and I overrun like 10 inches, 9-10 inches, make it into the organ gun, no problem, which is outstanding. In combat over here, I stagnated a little bit. Elizabeth wasn't able to get past his armor and his toughness, and only was able to do 1 wound to this guy. In return, she took a wound. I got charged on a wound to his wound. I win by 1. Needless to say, the dwarf had no problem making his 8 or 9 leadership, whatever it was. So we stick. Right here, though. Right flippin' here is where everything kind of goes 180. My inner council decimate this unit. We do, what, 3, 6, 8 wounds, plus another one to a character. I think his rune smith is over there in the corner. So I do 9 wounds to this unit. In return, they do 1 to me. I was able to get +1 strength off on the unit. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it in the magic phase. I forgot. I've got the exact same amount of ranks as them. He can't be steadfast. I've got charge, I've got flank, I've got super flank, I've got rank, I've got banner. I think I win by enough where he needs a 1 to stay, and you can't roll a 1 on 2d6. This unit auto breaks, or whatever. He breaks, and we run them the fuck down. I got his BSB. I got his runesmith. I got his unit. I've got 100 points for the BSB. I got 50 more points for the banner. Holy crap, the Inner Council and Kaka Shabadu just turned this game around. I have a chance now. I have a chance. I'm exposed. That unit is right there looking at my flank. And it's funny, and I'm going to share this with you because I'm a giver. There's a bunch of people around watching this game, and they're like, oh man, that's awesome, look at that, you just turned it around. And then my opponent's like, well, I got this unit right here that's going to charge him and decimate him. And all I'm thinking is, there isn't a chance in hell that these guys aren't fleeing. Now, I could roll like crap and he could run me down, but I'll take that chance, you know, because they don't have a chance in hell with a flank charge from his general's unit. So, yeah, they were going to flee, and if I could get away, I knew it would, at the minimum, it was going to be a tie. So I felt really, really good about this, hence the music. So here we are at the bottom of 4 after movement, and like I said, he charged with his general's unit down the hill, and my Inner Council fled. They were not having it, and I flee like 9 or 10 inches, make it away by a landslide. As you can see, there's a huge gap between us, and I'm fine with that. As long as they don't run off the table, I'm perfectly fine with them fleeing for the rest of the game. Good on them. Other than that, his bomber flies over my trappers and destroys them, and that's it for movement. Right there's a better picture of my trappers succumbing to the bombing of the bomber. What can you do? Nothing worth mentioning happens in the magic phase, because I think both of his smiths are dead. His anvil died, and then I killed the rune guy in that unit, so I don't think he has magic anymore. So we go into shooting, and as you can see, the catapult direct hits on the Inner Council. Totally understand why he did that. And he pops a guy and does a wound to the one of the guys in the unit still. So that's fine. They're already fleeing. I don't care. Take the half points. I prefer to keep them, but whatever. He killed a guy. They're already fleeing. I'm fine with this. Totally fine with this. So we go into combat, and Elizabeth eats this son of a gun, master engineer or whatever. You know what he was? He was a tube steak, and she swallowed it whole. And then, of course, my general was able to destroy the organ gun, no problem. Elizabeth will go after the catapult next turn, so I turn these guys around. I have no intention of sending them against his general's unit because they will eviscerate this unit. So they're just going to stand there and wave until the end of the game. I know, not the most exciting thing in the world, but I like to win, you know? So we go to the top of 5 after movement, and there's not a ton. My unit of Inner Council continue to flee. They flee past the dangerous terrain, and I take enough DT checks that another guy dies, and when it was carrying a wound anyway, he got impaled. It happens. But they're still fleeing. That's fine. I have another turn to rally them. And other than that, Elizabeth charges the catapult. That is it. There's a better picture of my guys continuing to flee and one guy eating it on the dangerous terrain. And there's a better picture of Lady Elizabeth slamming into the catapult because she's still hungry. Nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go into combat, and Elizabeth takes a wound, but she also dishes out a wound. So she's got charge. She did not get charging down a hill because she's not more than halfway, half the base off the hill. So I win by 1. This thing's stubborn, makes its break check, no problem. So with that, we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement. They're moving quick because there's just nothing going on anymore. And the big unit of his general's guys move forward. He leaves his bomber and the other slayer on the right side there because all they're going to do is get shot to death. And that's really about it. We go straight into combat. Elizabeth destroys the catapult, and she's very pleased with herself, as am I. So, you know what? My opponent looks at the table at this point and goes, hey, see if your tribesmen with your shaman rally, and if they do, great. If they don't, great, because this game's over. And I roll my leadership, and my tribesmen rally, no problem. So they turn around the face, and we call the game. So there it is. There's the end of the game, and what an incredible game it is. In the end, it was kind of a face-off. We were too evenly matched. Well, actually, I believed he was going to eat me alive if I sent anything else into that unit of his, and I think I was right. I think my opponent knew I was right, and that's why nothing was going near him. I'd have fed him Elizabeth. If it was turn 4 and he still had that, Elizabeth would have moved up and just sacrificed herself for the greater good. Sorry, baby, don't be mad. But you know what? We will get to the recap in a minute, because right now this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
So it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I got 1650 out of him. He got 1511 out of me for a difference of 139. 14 points away from a draw. At least that's what we considered it. This was, like I said, barely a victory, but I'll take it. In the end, I ended up losing Khan, the Combustor, the Good Old Boys, my Trappers, my Mercs, half a Liz, and Rufus. Oh, I hate it when I lose Rufus. I really, really do. But you know what? It was everything died the way it was supposed to. I mean, just what can you do, man? I got beat down. And I got beat at my own game in this game. This game had a lot of crazy things happen. I have never seen my mercenary veterans do so bad in close combat. I've seen them shot, I've seen them magicked, I've seen them overwhelmed, but in a 1v1, I've never seen them get their just teeth kicked down their throat as badly as my opponent did to him this game. Very impressive. The Dwarven multi-charge in that, what was it, turn 3, just wrecked my... I mean, just took out everything. I'm kind of glad my general's far away now. His bomber, that gyro bomber or whatever, is amazing. That thing's getting all the attention next turn, or next time I run into one, because I couldn't believe you could bomb every turn. It was, oh my god, it's the perfect anti-chaff, right? Because it just bounce around you and drop, 2 times D6 bombs at you, unless he rolls a 6, and then he's still got his gun. And as always, Oregon guns are my nemesis. So I really did like having a combat-heavy Great Khan in my list again. I really want to try to turn my list into more of a combat-focused army, more so than I have. And having the Great Khan was nice, but I totally misplayed him in this game. He should not have been the one going after the gunners. He should have been the one going after one of the combat bricks. Would it have made a difference? I doubt it, but maybe. I really don't know. I don't like the way this list feels. I really, really don't. It felt like I didn't have enough bags or tricks in my bag, bags in my tricks. Anyway, I think maybe the Scratapult is going to get back into the list. I played 2 more games with this list, slightly tweaking it. I didn't bring the Scratapult in forward. But one of the ideas I also had when I made this list was to have more scoring units. Using the secondary objectives, a couple of battle reports back, really made me realize how much I need more scoring units in my army. And that's kind of where I'm trying to go as well. I'd like to gear more towards GTs eventually. This list has a lot of rewrites to do, but I think I'm starting to gear it the way I like it. But you know what? A lot of good things happened in this army too. Kaka Shabadu and the Inner Council won me this game. That flank charge and all the points that I got because he had a Death Star was a legendary moment. I'm sorry. That's going down in the books. One day we'll write a book about the tremendous exploits, and that event will be in it. If that hadn't happened, this game would have been a 20-0 in his favor. Oh my god. And like I said, when it happened and I took that unit out, everyone was like, well, his general's unit's right there, going to charge that unit and destroy it. And all I could think was, I'm not standing. Are you crazy? I know that meat blending unit right there will destroy me. I'm fleeing. Tail between my legs, screaming at the top of my lungs. And they did. Oh, that was awesome. But you know what? This was a crazy good game. It really was. This is a crazy good opponent. You had me dead to rights. My luck is carrying me. Not my skill, my luck. incredibly close game, and I'm very much looking forward to the rematch. I mean, literally 14 points between a win and a draw. Amazing game. I hope everyone I play like it is like this one. Real quick, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody that supports me on Patreon and PayPal and all of that. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, and Daniel Jolson. Thank you guys very, very much. And everybody else that supports me and won't let me put their name on my slide. Thank you guys too very much. I very much appreciate it. And that's it, guys. Battle Report number 27 is officially in the books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.